January 30th, welcome back to Edgework. I'm Zack Phillips, joined here today by Alex Moretto and Matt Alber stepping in for Matt Russell. We could take one Matt, swap him out, and bring in the other Matt. I don't know. I'm seeing a theme here when it comes to ducking and dodging, but we'll get into a little bit of that. Before we can, I want to remind everybody that today's show, as always, is sponsored by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is to use multiple sports books and always get the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp to help you do so. BetStamp compares odds across every sports book, whether it's for games, futures, or player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. So make sure to download the app today. It is available on iOS, Android, as well as available on the web if that's how you'd prefer to sign up and use it. If you are looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, that is, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/edgework. That's betstamp.app/edgework. Signing up through this link does help support the show. You can find it in the description of the show here after the fact, whether you're on YouTube or on podcast, whatever it is that you're using to consume this show today, you can find that link in there, and it helps support us. We do appreciate that. Gentlemen, I said it. We swapped out one Matt, brought in the other one. I'm seeing a theme here now of people not showing up for these shows, and we have a message sent over from Matt Russell to kick off today's show.
What's up, Tuesday Edgework crew? It's your boy, Matt Russell here. A couple mea culpas. Number one, hate to miss the show today, especially since it's one of 3 that Zach is able to make per year, so that's kind of a bummer. The other one, I know Zach hit us with the video last week, and I know everybody likes a good Tuesday in Toronto, cold, grim, under chin angle, little 78 degree type job.
I was
Zach,
walking.
So this is just going to have to do for the time being. As for today, not a ton going on in the NHL, as you guys know. I'm sure you're probably talking about who's got the neatest toe drag, but there's a couple of games, and we got something just disgusting enough to work. San Jose Sharks, what are we getting? Upwards to plus 200, something like that, 180, against a real shoulder shrugger in the Buffalo Sabres. So you know the rules. Anytime there's a shoulder shrugger on the road in San Jose, we're going to take the Sharks as a big underdog. So that's play for today. Hope everybody's having a great time. And cheers from Mexico.
There you go. Cheers from Mexico. I hope that made you guys feel good on this morning. As I woke up and it was minus 2 degrees outside, snow was falling, rain, no sun yet again. We had one day of sun here in Toronto.
So nice and warm down here, guys, man.
Yeah. So it's tough, but there you go. We'll open this one up with the San Jose Sharks money line. Plus 211 there at Pinnacle Sportsbook, best price available, courtesy of Matt Russell all the way from Mexico. I mean, what happened here, Moretto? Is this like one of those cases where who was the Habs player back in the day that they used to send on vacation earlier? Was that Chelios that they would send away, let him get some rest, and then come back fully rested? He had a tan and stuff before he come back to join the team. Was that who that was?
Chelios was perma-tanned. That guy, it had to be. It makes sense because he was always a little bit darker than the rest.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's the treatment that he got, Alber. Russell comes on here. He gives out these big underdogs on Tuesdays, hits a few of them, and Moretto says, you know what, you can take off a little bit early for the All-Star break. Come back and see us on the other side. but we still have work to do here. We'll break down both of the games, get into our best bets, and then as well, we'll close out the show here today with a new segment, a brand new segment that will debut. So if you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the show, if you want to support the show, hit that like button here, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way up to 5,000 subscribers here now. We do appreciate all the support, but let's also get that number up to 5,000. 2,000 felt good, but that's not where we're stopping. Let's get to 5,000 here now. Appreciate all the support. Let's get into the games here today. First and foremost, we'll start with the St. Louis Blues hosting the Columbus Blue Jackets here tonight. St. Louis minus 157, Columbus plus 141, and a total of 6.5 right now. Moretto, what are your thoughts on where this game and this total is currently sitting at?
Yeah, I think the total's sitting too high, to be honest. This is two teams that just can't generate any sort of offense. Columbus, 24th this season. St. Louis, 27th in expected goals. If you go back to like December 1st, the last 2 months, they're both even lower, 27th and 29th. And if you go back to January 1st, St. Louis is trending in the wrong way. These teams cannot score goals at all. Neither team is great defensively, granted. I'm not going to sit here and say it's two good defenses against two good offenses. It's two bad offenses against two relatively bad defenses. But Columbus has ticked up quite a bit in that regard. The last month or so, they're up to 12th in expected goals against, which is significantly improved from where they were earlier in the season. They're starting to figure things out a little bit, play a better team game. And on the Blues side, while they are kind of a train wreck defensively, they have the goaltending at least to kind of bail them out. Binnington's having a great season, and Hofer has been really good too. So kind of either one that's in net, you kind of have some confidence in. Columbus maybe not quite there with the goaltending, at least in Tarasov's case. Hopefully we get Merzlikins tonight. Either way, I don't think we should be getting plus money on the under 6.5, and I'm gladly going to take that. And if we get Merzlikins, then man, this just a bonus, like significant breathing room here, in my opinion. Without him, then I think you got to have plus money on the 6.5, but we're getting that right now at Penny, so it's good for me.
Getting that at Penny, getting plus money across a lot of different regulated sports books there that you can see over in the BetStamp app. So make sure to check that out. Sign up because you can get best prices available up to plus 105 there. So we'll lock that in. But Alber, before we go move on from this game, is there anything else to add for you? Is there any sides that you might be looking at or any thoughts on the number?
Yeah, no side. I think what's keeping me off the total is a couple things he mentioned. It's who's in net for Columbus first off, because right now the difference between Tarasov and Merzlikins for me, even though Merzlikins hasn't been great, is pretty big. And secondly, these two teams, like, they're not good defensively. And we talked about Columbus, and he kind of mentioned how they've been good over the last month, but it's kind of regressed over the last few weeks. And it was like we talked about this probably a month ago that they were actually playing really well, and we were kind of finding spots to get on them. The last couple of weeks, that's kind of started to regress a little bit. So it is under nothing for sure. I would like a Columbus goalie confirmation, and then would probably play a plus money at that point. But if it's Tarasov, I would be able to get to this number.
All right, well, there you go. First play locked in from this group here in the first game. We do grab the under 6.5 at plus money between St. Louis and Columbus. Now we'll go on to the second game. And Evan here is saying, missed the start because of work, but the Sharks money line is like the bat signal. Yeah, that was locked in courtesy of Matt Russell all the way from Mexico there. If you missed that, you're going to want to go back and play it after and see that opening video to kick off today's show about why he's not here and the reasoning behind that pick. But there you go. So first play locked in from the actual guys here on video, the guys who actually took the time to show up today and show up to work. But nonetheless, move on. Let's cover this San Jose game. San Jose plus 211, the Seattle Kraken minus 222. We already do lock in the money line here at plus 211 on the Sharks. We're seeing a total of 5.5 right now. Alber, what are your thoughts on the total that we see right now? And also you could weigh in on Matt Russell's pick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how you'd lay minus 225 with Seattle on the road here. So I agree with Sharks or nothing there. I haven't played anything. I don't really want to steal Moretto's thunder coming up here, so I'll kind of just kick it back to him. But yeah, I have nothing on this game.
All right, well, Moretto, where are you at? I'm gonna say potentially an under here.
No. Surprisingly, no. I haven't played it yet, but I kind of like the over here, and I do want to get on the over as the under continues to take a little bit of money. Like we're at 5.5 minus 117 at Penny, which like I consider playing depending on who we get in net. Decord has started now 5 games in a row. I think we're on maybe Grubauer watch. I don't know if Decord's going to play for sure tonight, but yeah, if the under kind of keeps taking a bit of money and we can get like a minus 115 on that over 5.5, or if we can get a non-Decord confirmation and someone else in net for Seattle, I think that this over, I'll end up on this over because San Jose's been generating offense. Like they've ticked up significantly in that regard. I mean, granted, the baseline wasn't very high from what they were coming from, but they're playing a lot better offensively. They're generating chances. They're generating goals. And this is now a dead set over team, whereas I was on the unders for them earlier in the year. And can't remember how many unders I lost with like 23 shot games where they allowed 8 goals. So it's kind of nice to be on the other side of this now. And yeah, I think I was on the over against their game against the Sabres on Saturday. And that's kind of the same way I'm leaning here, where the Kraken are creating offense too. They're still a good defensive team, but they're generating a lot more offense that we've seen and that we're used to seeing from the Kraken. So yeah, this kind of profiles as an over to me, but I want to wait for some goalie news here, and I want to see where this price kind of goes to.
And if it's Grubauer,
Okay.
he hasn't played since December. So he hasn't played since he kind of came back off the IR. So it's really hard to predict how it affects goalies, right? Like you would think, goalies coming back their first game after a long time, it would be bad. It's just such a mixed bag. Like Aiden Hill came back and played out of his mind against the Islanders last week, right?
Yeah, but Aiden Hill's also been out of his mind, and Grubauer's been garbage this season. So you'd like to think that, they'll get more of the same from him.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll stay off of that one, Moretto. If anything changes throughout the course of the show, you just let me know. We'll hop back over here. We can track this play. But as of right now, 2 official picks. One would be the under 6.5 between St. Louis and Columbus plus 105. And then the other one would be the San Jose Sharks money line plus 211. And as you see in the chat here, it's too bad the Hawks aren't playing today. This is a good point here, Jordan. It's too bad they're not playing, because then we could just throw $2 on the minus 1.5 reverse puck line parlay there, and then blame me when it loses, and it just adds to our record of wins losses and makes it look a whole lot worse. So yes, too bad that those aren't going on here today. I'm sure Jason would have locked that in for me, but
this is an opportunity to do a rare all Sharks parlay, though, where we parlay the Sharks tonight with the Sharks tomorrow on the road in Anaheim. And I mean, hey, just a thought.
Hey, they just went on what, a 3-game, 4-game win streak? Could do a 2-game right before the break now too.
Yeah,
might as well.
All Sharks.
All right. Well, I teased you guys that we were going to debut a new segment here. If you follow us on Twitter, which you should, at EdgeworkHQ, you would have seen this tweet go out yesterday. A little bit terrifying, I would say, but
and you're also wondering
back in the day,
tagline is "Call me Daddy."
Yeah, if you're wondering why Moretto's tagline, on his headline right now on the screen is "Call me Daddy," then this would be why. But I was trying to think of new segments to bring to the show here today. I was trying to think of some creative ways that we could go into the All-Star break, and I was thinking some hypotheticals, but I wanted a theme. Well, my last name is Phillips. My buddies have all called me Phil, still continue to call me Phil. That is basically what my replacement name at this point. Nobody calls me Zach, it's Phil. And I was trying to think about a way to use that, and then it hit me, Phil of the Future, a TV show I used to watch when I was a kid. I brought it up. I tweeted this out yesterday. Someone else knew. Sweet Lou on Twitter, they knew as well. So thank God, Alber kind of recognized the show. So it wasn't just completely out there into the abyss, but Phil of the Future. So for the sake of today's show, I'm going to be going to the future. I'm going to be looking past the All-Star game towards the end of the season, looking into what happens and coming back to tell you guys what has gone on, and you're going to agree or disagree and tell us why not, okay? So we have some hypotheticals here. I grabbed some from my own. I got some hypotheticals of my own.
There's so many.
You want to bring that? And I grabbed some as well from people responding to a tweet that we put out yesterday. So let's first and foremost start with this. This one you guys saw. I gave you this example yesterday so that you guys could get an idea, but I will give you a hypothetical in the statement of fact, and you can tell me whether or not this will happen, okay? The Los Angeles Kings will miss the playoffs. That is the opening statement of Phil of the Future. Either of you can start. Moretto, we can go to you first and foremost. Based on where the Kings are at right now, I've gone ahead. I've taken a look. Come back. I'm telling you, the Los Angeles Kings will miss the playoffs.
So I'm supposed to say what, fact or what?
You can just
or not
yes,
fact.
No, fact, fact, fiction.
Okay, the LA Kings will not miss the playoffs. I think the LA Kings will not miss the playoffs. I think they'll figure it out. There's too much talent there. I think McClellan is on the thinnest ice of all time. I think all they need to do is fire him and get that new coach boost, which would be enough. But honestly, even if they kept him, I think they'll ultimately figure it out and get in here. But too much leadership and too many guys in that room that I trust, like Kopitars and Doughties of the world, for me to think that they won't figure it out. So LA Kings will miss the playoffs. Bill, you are a liar. Or they will make the playoffs. Sorry. Jeez. I had a long night last night.
All good. All right. Albert, same page there, differing opinion.
Yeah, I agree. We were kind of going through yesterday and kind of putting together playoff projections. I have them in the wild card. Again, just too much talent. You kind of look at the teams around them, like they would have to drop below a bunch of St. Louis, Nashville, Seattle, maybe Arizona, maybe Minnesota. Like even if they drop below one of those, they're still fine. They're better than all those teams, right? Like I think they're going to end up in a playoff spot. Yeah, no, you are a liar.
All right. I kind of like that spin on it instead. You are a liar is much better. All right. Moretto wanted at least a Habs themed one. I've got one here. Go. Sean Monahan will still be a Montreal Canadian after the deadline.
You are a liar. There's no way. That's going to put me in the ground if that's the case. I might be retiring the jersey for the rest of the season if Sean Monahan is still a Montreal Canadian on March, whatever the date is, the deadline. I think it's March 9th or something like that. No, Sean Monahan will be dealt.
I agree. I think he will be as well. But that one I thought was interesting because we did put out a Sean Monahan video the other day. There is an overwhelmingly large amount of replies to that video about keeping Sean Monahan past the deadline. So I want to bring that one back up for you there, Matt.
I can't even.
No, Matt. Would you be looking to add Sean Monahan to the Rangers now?
Man, I'd love Sean Monahan, honestly, especially now the Heatles done for the year. Could fit him right in that third line. I mean, they need to redo their third line. Like it running out like Will Cooley, Johnny Brodzinski, and I don't even remember what it is right now. Like it just doesn't work. They need someone in the middle there. Like I don't know how if you're Montreal. Like the only case I can remember close to this where a team kept a guy was last year when the Flyers kept JVR, right? Like I don't see how. And his cap hits what, $2 million, which is like 0.6 or something at the deadline. Like I don't know how Montreal can possibly keep him at this point. There's going to be so many teams out there that are going to want him in a middle six center spot. Like at this point, you might get a first round pick too. Like, yeah, I don't think there's any possible way that they keep him there. But I'd love him on the Rangers, honestly.
All right. Well, for the next one, I've not only skipped all the way past All-Star game to the end of the season, I've skipped into the summer, and I've looked at the awards night, and I found out Connor McDavid won the Hart Trophy. Connor McDavid won the Hart Trophy. Alber, is this fact or am I a liar?
You're a liar because unless a meteor hits Denver, it's Nathan McKinnon's to lose at this point, I think. We kind of talked about this before. Like I do believe there's a bit of voter fatigue on McDavid. I think unless he's just so far above everybody else, they're going to look for someone else to give it to. McKinnon's kind of having one of those years where I think everyone kind of wants to be able to justify, all right, we're going to give the award to him finally. Kucherov's there. I just don't I think he'd have to pass McKinnon in points like rather substantially. So unless we start talking about injuries or whatnot, like I do think it is McKinnon to lose. So I will go ahead and call you a liar on that one.
All right. Moretto, where are you at here?
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. But I mean, are the Oilers going to lose again this season? Because if they finish on a 55-0 run here, no, obviously that's not going to happen. But I think that if McDavid's going to win it, they're going to have to win the division, and Colorado will not win the Central. I think that's kind of the pathway here. Not to turn this into but I mean, strictly from a betting perspective, if you wanted to bet McDavid to win the Hart, I think you'll get a better price parlaying Oilers, Pacific, and maybe Stars Central or something like that. Because I think it's 4-1, 5-1-ish for McDavid to win the Hart. And yeah, it's McKinnon's unless something significant happens there, which I think that would be the significant thing that would have to happen.
Yeah, I could see the path. The only path that I was thinking that could happen here for this to be the case is the Oilers winning that Pacific Division. I had kind of thought about the idea of the Avalanche not winning theirs, but it was more just hey, could there be the idea of the storyline behind this of took them down from where they were at, where he wasn't having the greatest start to the season, when you're going to factor in valuable player to their team. Could that be in consideration of he didn't have the greatest start? The team obviously struggled because of it, and now he turns it on and he goes scorched earth on the league, and they go and win the Pacific. Could that be the pathway to get there? But that was kind of the thoughts that I had on that. All right, here's a New York Rangers one. The New York Rangers will figure it out and make the Eastern Conference Finals this year.
I mean, obviously, you see the future so clearly here.
The other ones I was blackout and had no idea what I was talking about, but this one clear.
Yeah, I don't know what happened over there. Clear as day now. You saw the comment in the chat about Matthew scoring 70, and now you start actually thinking clearly. I think they do, and I think part of this is just how down the Metro is outside of the top two right now. I think even as you look at it, last year, you kind of knew they were playing the Devils, and the Devils were always a terrible matchup for them. Just they skated circles around them in the series, frankly. But this year, you look at it, and it's outside of the Rangers and Carolina, who else is going to challenge anybody in that first round? So I think when you look at their kind of head-to-head with Carolina for the division title, I don't think it's as important as years past. And obviously, you kind of want home ice in that second round. I get that. But I don't think it's as important. The difference between 3 and 4 is going to be what? The Islanders, the Flyers, maybe the Devils, maybe Pittsburgh. Do we know who's clearly the best team out of that group? I don't. So yeah, I think they get there. And then mentioned it so many times, they match up really well against Carolina. So yeah, I think if their path ends up being something like Pittsburgh and Carolina, I do like them to get there. So yes, you are seeing the future clearly.
All right, fair enough. Moretto, where are you at here?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's basically everything that I was going to say. I think that they're the best team in the Metro in terms of maybe not better than Carolina, but I think they match up well with Carolina. So I think that I would fancy the Rangers in a series between the two of them. Maybe Patrick Waugh's Islanders, have something to say about it. Our Islanders, but I doubt it. I think the only thing that could be kind of an impediment there maybe would be Tampa finishing in the first wild card and then going into the Metro side of the bracket. Whereas, the Metro wildcard team, if there is a Metro wildcard team, unless it's the Wings, would then go into the Boston, Florida, Toronto, whatever side of the bracket, the Atlantic side. And then maybe, I think Tampa would pose a much tougher matchup. That'll be a really good series. But ultimately, yeah, I do think the Rangers are conference finals bound right now.
All right. Let's stick with another Canadian team here, or a Canadian team here. One of Chabot or Chychrun will be moved by the deadline. So one of Chabot or Chychrun will be moved by the Sens by the deadline. Moretto, am I a liar or is this fact?
I think you're a liar. I think Chychrun would make more sense to move. That's a very hasty thing to do to move someone of that stature before the deadline. And if I'm the Sens, I don't think I'm rushing to do that. For that reason, I'd like to think they're maybe a bit of a smarter organization. Who knows? Maybe you do get an overwhelming offer. And obviously the Sens are not the smartest organization to begin with, but they have cleaned house a little bit. This isn't, Pierre Dorion running things anymore. If Shabbat is traded, I will be beside myself at any point. I think that would be insane. He's
Agreed.
So good. It's so hard to find a guy like that. I would be shocked if he's traded in general. Chychrun, I think, seems like more of a summer move to me, but it is the Sens. Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, that's what I've listened to some other people talking about it, some Sens coverage and being like, oh, well, you might have to move on from one of these guys. Is Shabbat the guy you move on from because of the price tag or whatever? I was watching that game last night and I'm just thinking, if you're going to have to move on from one of these guys, it cannot be the guy that you drafted and developed and have had here for that long as well. Like, even just optically, like it's not like he's a bad player and he's negatively affecting your team or anything. His cap hit's not a problem, really. If you're just looking to make a move for the sake of making a move, that's not the guy you do it to. It's not the guy you've grown here and had part of the fan base and part of the leadership and the organization for this long. And then you're going to favor the guy that you just traded for last year who has had some injury problems and is just coming in. Like that would just be a complete mishandling of the situation on top of even just like the actual hockey aspects, like the optics off the ice, even outside of how things play out on the ice. I think would be insane to move on from Shabbat.
And the contract's not even bad. Like he's probably slightly below market value for the type of player he is. It gets kind of lost because he plays in Ottawa, but like I genuinely believe he is a true number one defenseman in this league. He logs a ton of minutes. He can play power play, he can play penalty kill. He puts up points. He's good defensively. He can throw the body. Like he is a true number one defenseman, and he's getting paid $8 million a year. And you have him locked up long term. It's hard enough to attract players to come play in Ottawa. Right now, just given the arena situation, everything like that, you're not going to. It's insane to move on from one who is signed there long term, and who is very good. Yeah. So yeah, that would be wild.
Yeah, Alber, any different opinion there?
No, I agree with the Shabbat take 100%. I mean, even aside from all of that, like he's got another 5 years on his contract. Like those are just so tough to move now. That I don't know why you'd want to do it, but even if you did, you're going to struggle to find somebody. And Chychrun, like they just got him last year, and that whole thing was a debacle with Arizona, right? Like I don't think they're necessarily looking to just shove him out of there. Like maybe if this is next year and they're really struggling, that's a different conversation. But like Andy has I think a 10-team no trade or something. So it's like it's not even like they can just go out there and find whoever. It's like, again, they're going to need to go out there and they're going to need to find the right team that he's willing to go to after having just done this last year. Like I just don't see it. So no, I think
I do say if you change it to like, is Chychrun on the team on opening night next season? I would say definitely not. I would feel very confident that he's not on the team. It sounds like, the more chatter that comes out of Ottawa, it sounds more and more like he's definitely going to be on his way out. It just hasn't worked out for him there. It sounds like both him and the team are good to make a move and, trying to regroup. Ottawa obviously has a lot of like young talent on D, so I think they can afford to move on from him. Not a guy you want to lose for nothing at the end of next season either, right? So I do think he's not on the team for the start of next season, though.
If only we knew a team up in Canada that could use a young defenseman who was actually decent.
The team might wear blue jerseys. We're loaded, baby.
I don't know. That team might wear blue jerseys. I'm not really sure.
I think the Canucks are fine. I don't know why taking shots at the Canucks.
The Oilers look pretty good. The Oilers look pretty good too.
All right, well, let's stick with the half Canadian themed one here, at least in terms of the team involved. But I guess one of the players is Canadian too. Now, so money, if you are watching right now, plug your ears, turn the volume off, close the computer. I don't know, one way or another, you might not want to hear this one because I went back to the awards night. I saw McDavid win the Hart. I was told I was a liar for that one. But when I was there, I also found out that Cale Makar overtook Quinn Hughes and won the Norris. He wrapped up the race this year. He won the Norris by a landslide. Moretto, Am I a liar or is this fact?
That's a tough one. I think that is. I'm gonna say that's fact. I'm gonna say that's fact. Man, it's just he needs to stay healthy, right? Hughes is having an insane season, and he deserves it. It would be great to see, and but like, man, Makar is the best defenseman in the NHL. He's a top 2 player in the NHL, maybe. If he stays healthy the rest of the way, I think that maybe he can make up that ground. I don't know. The Canucks are due for a little bit of regression. I don't want to get on somebody's bad side here. I'm gonna say you're a liar. You're a dirty liar.
What do you think, Matt?
You know what? I talked badly about the Canucks early on. I obviously got some instant karma there. Quinn Hughes is going to win the Norris. I've kind of accepted that at this point. I don't believe that Makar is going to be able to make up the ground. I think so much of it at this point too is just kind of, again, I think the people that are voting on this, they do take into account expectations. And I do think part of this is you see the Canucks make this giant jump, and Hughes obviously is having an unbelievable year. And I think they will value the fact that they weren't even looked at as a playoff team when you look at this, right? So no, I don't believe Makar is going to get there. I'm going to say something about the Canucks someone he's not going to like tomorrow, so at least I'll make him happy today. But no,
no.
I don't believe that Makar will overtake Quinn Hughes for the Norris.
All right. Now I have another final one of myself here. Then we can run through some ones that I saw people send over on Twitter as well with their predictions. The final one that I saw, I got to go into the room where Gary Bettman and the NHL board was sitting there discussing things, and I heard them talking about finally bringing back a best on best. We're going to get World Cup hockey, or World Cup style hockey at least. But the thing that I saw was on the Hockey Canada side, where they had the roster for the Canadian team, Jordan Binnington was the starting goalie for Team Canada. They were going to have Jordan Binnington as the number one. Alber, would you agree with this? Do you think Jordan Binnington would be the number one goalie for Canada if there was best on best? Is this fact or am I a liar? Did I see things wrong?
Everybody knows that Canada can't develop goalies, right? Like that's a known thing.
Yeah, lost
now, yes.
It's horrible. I mean,
yeah.
Oh,
historically, yeah,
some of
terrible.
the best goalies of all time, maybe. But anyways,
this one honestly kind of caught me off guard here. I'm trying to figure out who else is in play for Canadian goalies here, because I guess like Russia and the US has a lot of them.
Right. Of all the ones that could have caught him off guard, this one, the one he knew ahead of time.
Have caught it off guard because this is the one. This is Zach made all the other ones for just for everyone in the chat. No one knows these other ones.
Yes,
I put this one in the chat earlier today.
See, I missed it somehow. No, the answer is Aiden Hill.
Aiden Hill?
Right now, yeah, the answer is Aiden Hill, who, is going to come back and win the Vezina and not allow a goal the entire playoffs. But yeah, right now, it'd be Aiden Hill over Binnington.
Hill's body of work over the last, whatever it is, 12 months, 16 months has been the best of any Canadian goalie by a decent margin for sure. Doesn't necessarily have the track record, which I think means he's guaranteed a spot on the team, not necessarily guaranteed to start. Carter Hart, obviously, the stuff going on there kind of takes him out of the equation right now.
Sam Montembeault?
I think the other guys you're looking at are, I was going to say Sam Montembeault is maybe in contention to be a third goalie. Tristan Jarry is in contention. And honestly, the guy I think I would go with right now would be Stuart Skinner, the way he's playing. Skinner's been just unbelievable. This is a young goalie who had the pedigree kind of coming into the league and seems to be fully living up to that hype. And I think that right now, Stuart Skinner, honestly, Aiden Hill is right there too, but I think Stuart Skinner is the best Canadian goalie in the league right now, and probably doing a disservice to Aiden Hill because he's been fantastic. This guy's won a cup and has continued on and been fantastic this year, and I still can't buy into Aiden Hill. I don't know. It's yeah.
I mean, like, I understand the hesitancy. I also have some too when it comes to Aiden Hill, but more I'm just thinking like you go into this tournament, let's say it's tomorrow, like, or we start in the All-Star break here. I think the guy for me, number one, has to be Aiden Hill just because of like even I don't know the best way to put it, but like how hot he is right now. Like that's just the one way I would kind of look at it, where it's like, okay, you just roll the guy into it, continue on what he's doing. Like I understand the full body of work, and I actually would mostly agree with you where it's like, hey, your three are gonna be Bennington, Hill, and Skinner probably at this point. Those are your three guys that I think I would be taking at least. But I think if it's me, you're probably like giving the majority of the workload to Bennington just because of history, at least based on what Team Canada has kind of done in the past. I mean, like, oh yeah, the longevity or whatever. And then Aiden Hill is the one who's like, you're the one who's got to take over this net. And I think he could, but I don't know. I don't know.
It's got to
Part of it
stink
too,
not
like,
being able to roll out Ottinger, Hellebuck, and Demko.
Well, too bad you're going to start one goalie, bud.
yeah. Pick one. Like they don't line up side by side, Alber.
Front to back.
All right. Here's some that were sent over via Twitter yesterday. I put these out, so we'll run through these here. Appreciate everyone who participated in this and sent stuff as well. But first one here from @G_M_1971 says, Pasta and Matthews both hit the 70 goal mark. Fact, or is GM 1971 a liar, Moretto?
Yeah, I think only Pasta does. I don't think.
Oh my God.
Matthews has a. No, I don't think. I don't think so. I'm gonna say he's a liar. I don't think both guys get to 70. I think Pasta needing to get what, like 40 more goals almost in less than half the season. Yeah. I don't think that's a possibility. Ultimately, I think Matthews finishes just short too. Their schedule for the rest of the season is significantly tougher than it was up to this point. Obviously Matthews is a bit of a power play merchant, all that sort of stuff. So I think Matthews finishes just short. I say Matthews finishes at a nice 69, and Pasta doesn't. I don't even know if he necessarily cracks 60 for sure.
Alber, thoughts? I'm pulling up a stat here. Just to throw out there.
Now.
He's ready to go.
The Leafs are 29th in the NHL for power plays per game at 2.9.
I think only like a quarter of Matthews' goals are on the power play. I'm pretty sure.
Everybody knows
I don't
the
think
NHL
he's come
hates
close to.
Yeah. I just needed to throw that one out there. Just, anyways, Albert, thoughts on this? Past day, Matthews 70.
I definitely don't think Pastrnak gets there. I'm gonna say Matthews does, honestly. Like they still have another 35 games left to get what you're saying. I mean, he's well on that pace there at this point. But no, Pastrnak is just too far back. But I agree. Matthews is gonna end up somewhere in like that 67, 71 range, probably. But I think if it gets to that point, like I think they're gonna probably try to deploy him in every way possible to get him to that number. But no, Pasternak's just too far back. He would need 37 in 32 games or something like that.
I think the better question would have been Reinhart and Matthews as opposed to Pastrnak and Matthews.
Can't wait for the Leafs to give Sam Reinhart.
I didn't write the question.
I know. I'm just saying to G Unit or G Baby or whatever the guy's name was on whatever the guy or girl's name was there. That's maybe I think Reinhart probably has a better chance to get just the fact that he's got like a 5-goal cushion or something like that right now.
What price would you put on Reinhart getting to 70?
GRP wins, moves out of his mom's basement. Fun fact about GRP
you
wins.
You're a liar.
Fun fact about GRP wins. We have a next Wednesday. Make sure you're subscribed to Forward Progress because we have our Super Bowl props extravaganza, a 5-hour Super Bowl prop show where I've been booking out guests to come on every 10 minutes. And GRP is on at the show is going to go from 12 to 5 p.m. Eastern. GRP is coming on at 12:35 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday, February 7th, and he has a secret prop that he's going to give out, one that he is not going to tweet out until then. So if you want a free winner, then there you go. I wonder if there'll be blood on the ticket, on the bet slip that he shows.
The prop expert himself. That's incredible. The prop expert himself. All right, a couple more here from people on Twitter. This one comes from at Abnormally Dissed. Abnormally Dissed says, Winnipeg Jets win out and lose in the first round of the playoffs. Is this fact, or is Abnormally Dissed a liar, Moretto?
I mean, what by win out? I mean, I think that
we
would.
won 35-0.
I think that part is. I think that part is. Yeah. Yeah,
I'll take the win out
part.
And I'll say that's a fact. I'll say they do lose in the first round of the playoffs. They're going to end up going up against Colorado or Dallas, and they're probably going to be the road team in that one. And I can't. The way I think they're trending down a little bit. They're playing a bit out of their depth, and yeah, I would be taking Dallas or Colorado in a series over Winnipeg.
All right.
Yeah, love me some AD, but 35-0, man, that's an ask. No,
I had to include that part of it. I had to include that.
Yeah.
You guys needed to hear it.
I saw that tweet come across last night. I was like,
yeah, I did see it on my timeline.
Yeah, I do think they lose round 1 too, and I actually think they end up going up against Colorado. But either way, like they're going to be like decent underdogs against either of them. But no, I agree. I think they've kind of like they hit that super hot run. I think they're kind of starting to come back down to earth a little bit. I just think those two teams are a clear step above, especially kind of once we get later in the year here. So yes, I will say AD is right, and the Winnipeg Jets lose in round 1.
All right, we'll wrap this up shortly, but I wanted to give credit to the people on Twitter here. So continue to read through another one, friend of the show, Ron Kurtz. Ron says, both Eastern wildcard teams come from the Atlantic. We'll start with that. There's 2 parts to it. Both Eastern wildcard teams come from the Atlantic. Is this fact, or is Ron lying, Alber?
I'm going to say fact. I think what helps us out a little bit is the fact that the team we all see dropping out of the playoffs is right now a Metro team that's in the top 3. So you're going to replace Philly with whoever ends up being that next best Metro team, which I think helps. I think the other thing that helps is we don't really see either Tampa or Toronto missing the playoffs. So right off the bat, at minimum, it's one of them. It's kind of no secret, I guess, if you're looking at the standings. Like I think Detroit holds on to the wild card 2 spot. So I'm going to say yes, go out on a bit of a limb there. So I will say yes, both come out of the Atlantic.
All right.
I'm actually curious if you're Alber while I'm talking, if you want to pull up the to make or miss playoff odds, I'm curious what they are for Detroit. I'm going to say fiction. I don't think the Red Wings are very good, and I think they have regression coming to bite them. I don't know. They just have not been playing good hockey, and they're finding ways to win games, shooting at a high rate. And it's just, this is not a good hockey team that is getting outplayed consistently and still somehow coming out with results. I don't think they can still keep scoring on like at the rate that they are with the offense that they're generating. So I think that the Islanders are a better team. I think the Devils are a better team, even not healthy. Obviously, I don't know if at any point they're going to be healthy this year, which kind of takes away from them. But I think Pittsburgh's a better team. I think, Islanders, Flyers. I think they're all better teams. I think ultimately Detroit does miss out, but like they have a bit of a cushion right now. So it's going to take one of these Metro teams needs to really step up because they're just no one seems to want it right now.
Detroit is sorry to go back to the playoff odds. So Detroit is right now a pick 'em, the same as the Devils. The Penguins are the team that's favored over both of them to make it right now. The Islanders are pretty substantially far back, which
I think that's because the Pens have played like significantly fewer games than everyone around them.
They've played one less than the Devils, 3 less than the Isles.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Continue on here. The second part that Ron had predicted, Brock Faber wins the Calder. Is this fact or is Ron lying, Moretto?
I could see it being fact. I don't think he does, but I think it's still ultimately Bedard's. But like, yeah, I think I'm gonna say it's fiction, but it wouldn't surprise me. It definitely wouldn't surprise me. I think he's obviously. I mean, I'm not going on a limb saying this anymore because he's now second favorite behind Bedard. But like, it's gonna be one of them too. I just still ultimately think it's Bedard. I think that he's gonna come back and he'll still do enough to hold off Faber.
All right.
Yeah,
Alber?
this one's kind of tough, right? Because like Bedard's gonna end up missing what, 2 months or something like that.
Yeah.
But and I know we've kind of talked about this on the side, like there's certainly value in some of these long shots. Like I think we're both on Sam Harrison at this point at some big prices. Like Faber, I think was good a couple weeks ago. Man,
Harrison turned into a pumpkin immediately.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of going back to how I was running the first 2 months. But like they want to give this to Connor Bedard like so badly, right? Like, and I think we all kind of know that it's just it's tough to think it's going to go to anybody but him. Like if he's going to play again, but if he only's back for a few weeks, like they still want to give it to him. Like no, I don't think Faber's going to win. I think it's going to end up being Bedard. It is tough to kind of quantify like how much does missing 2 months matter.
Yeah. All right, final one here that I saw in response. This one comes from good friend of the show, someone who may not be a friend of the show after today, actually, but So Money at So Money Sports on Twitter. So Money says he went to the future, I guess, and found out the Edgeworth crew will be in Vancouver in June to celebrate. Is this fact, Moretto, or is So Money lying to us?
So Money would never lie. This is fact. The Vancouver Canucks are going to shoot 25% in the playoffs. Never mind regression. They're gonna have some positive regression. Yeah, they're gonna increase.
They're gonna go full
percentage.
2022 Rangers in the playoffs.
And Thatcher Demko is gonna have about a .980 save percentage. And they're gonna do it. And I am gonna be actually in BC. Late June, early July. So the timing really does work out. So Money, we'll figure this out. Maybe I can help with the parade stuff, build a float or two. And I'm in.
Build the parade.
So I just don't know. I don't know why we'd go to Vancouver to celebrate the Rangers winning the Stanley Cup. That's kind of a weird place to go for that.
Wow.
I'm going to eat that one later.
That's gonna end poorly there.
Yeah, I know. I gave him Quinn Hughes to win the Norris earlier. But yeah, I don't know. Like
you'll give him a Norris, he'll give you a cup. Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah, exactly. We kind of covered all our bases here. But yeah, I don't know, right? Like we've kind of waited for this regression to start. It started to come a little bit, but I don't know. You keep seeing these 1994 comments. That rematch would be that'd be pretty great. Yeah, that'd be pretty great.
I'd be down for that.
I mean, Alex is right too. Like if the Rangers don't turn it around, they're not going to be anywhere near it. So I don't know.
All right. Well, that'll do it for Phil of the Future. Maybe we could bring this one back, make it a recurring thing. I'll get like a graphic spun up, animations, all that kind of stuff, and we can do that. Moving forward, if you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel. We continue to try to do some more stuff like this. Thumbnails on the videos are changing, all that stuff. Moretto's got me working overtime to try to continue to grow this, but you guys can make my life a little bit easier if you just hit that subscribe button here, hit the like button while we're on the stream. It just makes it a little bit easier on me. A little bit. Won't stop doing all this stuff, but just a little bit easier. So we appreciate all the support. Thanks, everyone. If you want a free NFL Super Bowl pick here, I know who this is as well. So Kyle Juszczyk, under 0.5 reception, good to plus 100 is my bet. Tags you specifically at Moretto. Moretto, I don't know if you know who that is, but there you go. Free pick for everyone ahead of going into the Super Bowl there. Now, to recap today's picks, if you want to see all the picks that we've given out on the show, you can find us over in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ. See how we do on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, whatever it is. If you want to see how we've done to even dating back to last season, you can find it in their Find Better section, Edgework HQ, for our two picks for tonight. courtesy of Matt Russell, all the way in Mexico via video submission. If you haven't seen that, go back and check it out again. San Jose Sharks plus 211 money
touring
line.
our CLV, Russell, from all the way from Mexico. He's gonna have a little Montezuma's revenge here. Some Labatt splats catching up to him. Drinking. Don't drink that water, Matt. Don't drink that water.
What did he pull a Joey Pucks here? Bet 211, line instantly goes 212.
Yeah. The immediate market fade. And then so we got the Sharks money line plus 211, courtesy of Matt Russell. And then finally we have the Blue Jackets Blues under 6.5 plus 105 there.
We had locked that in if we had locked that in at Penny, we would have had 5 cents of CLV already, but we went with that way, so it's all good. What are you gonna do?
I was gonna say that San Jose line is still like the market best by 15 cents or something looking around right now.
Well, Moretto, we got it at 105 and the Pinnacle one was at 104 for
it's now at minus 101 if you're looking here.
So hopefully that COV will kick in later in the day, or not, because sometimes going against you can be the best feeling in the world. Knowing that it's going to be an automatic win, it feels like at that point with some of those.
Are we locking in? Are we locking in an NFL prop on Edgework or what? For Eric?
Lock in an NFL prop via chat for 2 weeks away for the Super Bowl on the Edgework show. I will not be doing that. I might be going and placing it myself, but I won't be locking it in here on Edgework. Now, thanks to everyone who tuned in here today. We do appreciate it. For tomorrow's show, it's going to be myself, Moretto, and Alber again back here. Tomorrow, we will be going through the games, obviously, for tomorrow night to finish off the week. But we'll also do full predictions. We'll do cup predictions, awards predictions, all that kind of stuff. If you do have questions about futures or anything, please send them over. We'll try to get into all of those through tomorrow's show. We'll try to answer any of your futures questions, any prices. If there's stuff that we've already covered, I'll take note of it and we'll try to answer it quickly, but there have been things over the past 3 weeks now that we've been getting into futures wise. So if we have covered it, which we'll probably just briefly touch on some of those, but anything futures, send them over at Edgework HQ on Twitter. You can also comment on YouTube. I'll check the comments over the next 24 hours leading into tomorrow's show. We'll bring those into the show, but look forward to seeing everyone back here tomorrow morning at 10:30 Eastern time. Matt, thanks for stepping in for Matt. Moretto, appreciate you taking the time as always. Look forward to seeing everyone back here tomorrow morning. Enjoy the games tonight. Good luck on your bets.